Oh hey, I was just gonna light this keycap puller on fire. Extremely dangerous. Illegal. Okay, seriously, do not burn plastic. Oh, and thanks Epomaker for sending out today's review item. Let's start by unboxing, because there's nothing more exciting than opening up a new product, or watching someone else do it. Inside the Skyloom branded packaging, we are immediately presented with a manual. That's like so... we don't need that. The keyboard underneath is what we're really after, of course. This is Epomaker's AK84S, available now on Kickstarter starting at...
Nice.
There's a power button and some adjustable feet on the back, and the weight seems pretty good. First impressions aren't bad, so let's see what else we get. Under the flap, there is, a braided cable. The cable seems pretty high quality with metal ends. I wish it was coiled, but I can't complain for the price of this board. I will actually be using this. There are also these 3 little boxes. I guess that makes this a double unboxing. Speaking of, I'd love to be able to open boxes for a living on YouTube when my parents kick me out in 2 years, so please subscribe now to help me do that. And while you're enthusiastically remembering to click the bell button so that you can always watch my content, I am going to move these switch and keycap pullers out of the way. Ah, that's better. In this box, we have something I didn't really expect. A bunch of sample switches. They're all optical, but they seem to be Epomaker's optical chocolate switch equivalents to the traditional red, brown, and silver switches of the keyboard world. I don't really consider these part of the review, but let's give them a quick sound test since they're unique looking. Of the 3, I think the chocolate silver sounds the best with its 55-gram spring and linearness. Yeah, the red's a little too light for my taste. In the other box, we've just got some Gatoron optical switches. Since they're Gatorons, I'm not going to bother with a sound test. I'm sure they're all over the internet somewhere. Nonetheless, these are some pretty cool little accessories. Oh, you thought it ended there, did you? Well, Epomaker also sent me a set of their GK2 silicone keycaps. Like, they're literally made of silicone. Wait, let me just switch the backdrop because the red is getting a little repetitive. Okay, like I mentioned, these are GK2 caps. Something about this box and its colors just makes me really happy. We've got an empty tray. I'm not really sure what that's for. On top of that, we have a barely full coverage set of GK2s. There's no extra spacebar, but there's just enough to cover the 75% form factor of the AK84S. Now, you may be asking, silicone? ? Yes, silicone. However, we will not be typing with Jello today because there's a rigid plastic reinforcement underneath each keycap. I guess if you're typing an essay and you get bored, you can just rip the top of your spacebar off and bend it around. I'm not sure whether I'd consider this innovative or not. I mean, I haven't seen it before, but I feel like there are reasons for that. Anyways, since the default GK1 keycaps have macOS legends, let's switch over to the silicone ones for the review. Red, black, and white, I will miss you. Pumpkin patch color theme, here we come. You know how this works. I am going to let these snap transitions do the talking, and I will be back afterwards. Wow, it's definitely a lot taller than OEM profile. Let's talk about the form factor, which is basically a 65% except with the function row on top. It's shorter than TKL, so it'd theoretically be better for gaming. It sacrifices the gaps between the function groups, but that doesn't really matter in my opinion. As far as build quality goes, there are a few concerns, but not huge ones. The switches being optical means there are no metal pins securing them to the circuit board, as in they wiggle around a little. Speaking of, let's take a closer look at one of these browns. I mean, it's your usual 4 switch components, the relatively light 45-gram spring, stem, and top and bottom housings. Almost every part of this switch is brown, including the top housing, which is kind of tinted brown. It clicks back together like a regular MX-style switch with 2 clips on either side. Let's check out the stabs. They're plate-mounted and pretty wobbly stock, so I'm not expecting too much. They actually came factory lube, but I couldn't really tell until I looked. Let's check out a quick typing test. One main feature of the AK84S is Bluetooth, which I found pretty cool. I mean, I've never owned a Bluetooth keyboard with optical switches before. You can connect up to 3 devices at the same time and then easily switch between them using function and number key 1 to 3, which worked pretty seamlessly. It's a feature that's particularly useful in a multi-device setup like mine. Sometimes when I'm working on a script on one computer, I'll want to switch to typing up an email on my school laptop, but when that gets boring as hell, I'll go to send a snap message to my cousin on my iPhone using my optical Bluetooth keyboard instead of the peasant software keyboard on my phone. In all seriousness, this combined with the 4000 mAh battery is a great feature for such an affordable board. Speaking of, there's an automatic sleep feature that you can control, and there's also the power button on the back. Did I mention there's RGB? Well, if you're a Mac user, it's this thing gamers like. It stands for red, green... you knew that. Okay. Well, in order to change the board lighting, you can go the software route, or just use shortcuts like I prefer to do. If you're a keyboard person already, you may be familiar with changing the lighting effect, brightness, and speed with the arrow and function keys. So, should you buy this keyboard? I mean, if you're looking for a productivity board that's not full-sized but not 60% either, then this gets my recommendation. While the stabilizers aren't the best, the switches are optical, and the build quality was a little touchy, I have to keep reminding myself how affordable this board actually is. I mean, coming from a $450 custom keyboard, I know, weird flex, as well as pre-builts twice the price, I'm impressed with how many features the AK84S does have for well under $100. The aluminum plate, Bluetooth connectivity, and included braided cable are all great features to have for many people. Even though they wouldn't be my first choice for gaming or extended use, I found the soft touch keycaps were surprisingly fun to use. Importantly, there's good value here, and the only competition seems to be the Keychron K2, but I can't offer you a comparison without having both on hand. Again, I didn't want this to turn into a modding video, but I may mod the board in the near future before gifting it to my mom, who uses a MacBook. Thanks for watching, and please help boost my chances at online celebrity status by liking and subscribing. Only if you found this review helpful or entertaining, of course. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.